Mirza Kuchak Khan was an Iranian 20th-century revolutionary leader and the president of the Gilan Socialist Soviet Republic. He was the founder of a revolutionary movement based in the forests of Gilan in northern Iran that became known as the Nehzat-e Jangal, the Jungle Movement. This uprising started in 1914 and remained active against internal and foreign enemies until 1921, when the movement was completely abandoned after the demise of Mirza Kuchak Khan. Mirza Kuchak Khan was born Yunus, son of Mirza Bozorg, in the city of Rasht in northern Iran in October 12, 1880. His father was a Gailani merchant. In June 1908, the parliament was shut down during a coup d'état ordered by the new monarch, Muhammad Ali Shah. The Russian Cossack Brigade, under the command of Colonel Lyakov serving the Shah, bombarded the parliament and arrested pro-democracy leaders, activists, journalists, and members of parliament. Uprisings all over the country followed, particularly in Tabriz, Ardabil and Rasht. During the Tabriz uprising, Kuchak Khan tried to join Sattar Khan and Haj Baba Khani Ardabili's forces, but was unable to actively participate due to an illness. He was injured during the Constitutionalist War and had to travel to Baku and Tbilisi for medical attention. After going through a period of renewed and bloody dictatorship nicknamed the Short Dictatorship, or Lesser Autocracy, on July 1909, the National Revolutionary Forces from Gilan and central Iran, Bakhtiari tribes, were united to attack and conquer the capital Tehran. Mirza Kuchak Khan was one of the lower-ranked commanders of the force that invaded the capital from the north, under the command of Sepidar Azam Muhammad Vali Khan Tonkaboni. Unfortunately, given the shortcomings of the advanced social thinkers and activists of the time on one hand and the stronger establishment of the old autocracy on the other hand, again the same privileged class and their political representatives took control of the new regime. The freedom fighters were not satisfied and were in fact disarmed, in some cases using force. Meanwhile, the direct and indirect manipulation of the country's internal politics by Tsarist Russians and the British increased the social unrest within Iran. It was during such tumultuous period that Mirza Kuchak Khan, in collaboration with the Society of Islamic Union, started his uprising in the northern forests, southern Caspian. Initially, the headquarters of the movement was in Kazma. Mirza Kuchak Khan's return to Rasht was not easy since he had been expelled from Gilan by the Russian consulate for 5 years. His cause seems to have been a mixture of that of the newly emerging national bourgeoisie and downtrodden peasants, and therefore gained momentum soon after it started. The Jangal forces defeated the local governmental and Russian troops, which added to their reputation as potential saviors of the ideas of the constitutional revolution. On June 12, 1918, the city of Manjil was the site of a battle between the Jangali troops and the joint British and White Russian forces. The latter force, led by General Dunsterville and Colonel Lazar Bycherakov, although formally just trying to organize the return of Russian soldiers back home, in reality was planning to pass through Manjil as the only passage to the Caspian in order to reach Baku and fight against the newly formed Baku Commune, led by Stepan Shahumian. Mirza Kuchak Khan's troops were defeated in this war because of the use of artillery, armored car and airplanes by the joint forces. Mirza's field commander was a German officer, Major von Paschen, who had joined the Jangal movement after being released by them from the British prison in Rasht. The Jangal movement was further boosted and gained gravity after the victory of the Bolsheviks in Russia. On May 1920, the Soviet Navy led by Fyodor Raskolnikov and accompanied by Grigory Orjonikidze, entered the Caspian port of Anzali. This mission was declared to be only in pursuit of the Russian vessels and ammunition taken to Anzali by the White Russian counter-revolutionary General Denikin, who had been given asylum by British forces in Anzali port. Mirza Kuchak Khan agreed to cooperate with the Soviet revolutionaries on some conditions, including the announcement of the Socialist Republic of Gilan, also known as the Red Republic of the Jungle, under his leadership and lack of any direct intervention by the Soviets in the internal affairs of the Republic. However, soon disagreements arose between Mirza and his group of advisors on one side and the Soviets and the Communist Party of Persia, evolved from the Baku-based Idalat Party. Mirza's efforts to resolve the bloody disputes by sending a petition through a delegate of 2 of his men to Lenin did not result in a resolution. By 1921, and particularly after the agreement achieved between the Soviet Union and Britain, the Soviets decided not to further support the Socialist Republic of Gilan, and as a result the government forces led by Colonel Reza Khan, the future Reza Shah, overran the dispersed forces of the Jungle Republic. Sadallah Darvish is appointed as the chair of the Revolutionary Council, Commissar, of the forces missioned to Mazandaran province, to promote the Red Iranian Revolution in that province. The letter is signed by Mirza Kuchak Khan, his usual signature Tewchak-e Jangali meaning Kuchak of the Jungle, and other members of the Revolutionary Council of the Republic of Iran, 1920. The tone and the terminology used in the letter shows the revolutionary fervor of the time and, contrary to the suggestion of conservatism on Mirza's side by some historians, his devotion to the ideas of socialism. Mirza and his companion named Gauk, a Russian-German revolutionary adventurer, left alone in Talesh Mountains around Maysel, both died of frostbite. His body was decapitated by a local landlord and his head was displayed in Rasht to establish the government's new hegemony over revolution and revolutionary ideas. They buried his body in Solimandarab in Rasht and sent his severed head to Cossack commander Reza Khan, who later became the first Pahlavi king of Iran, in Tehran. During the Second World War and after the departure of Reza Shah for exile, friends of Mirza Kuchak brought his head back from Tehran and buried it in his tomb. The tomb of Mirza Kuchak in Rasht was reconstructed after the Islamic Revolution. Reverend Charles Mary, a Christian missionary living in Rasht, commented on the personality traits of Mirza Kuchak Khan as follows. While describing him, he used words such as honest, patriotic, and conscientious. His fans respected him not just because of his gallantry in war, but because of his kindness, fairness, and truth-seeking personality. Mahdi Malekzadeh, the author of the book, Constitutional Revolution, praises Mirza as a true warrior who believed in constitutionalism. And he writes that Mirza was not only a soldier who fought for independence, but also a missionary of freedom that did not fail to encourage people to seek justice and human rights in any circumstances. Mirza's legacy. Aside from Galakis, many citizens from Kurdistan, Azerbaijan, and Mazandaran joined the Jangal movement and reinforced its cues against domestic and foreign enemies. The level of patriotism and progress of Mirza Kuchak Khan and the warriors of the forest can also be found in their Letter of Intent, which was published long before the proclamation of the Republic of Iran. The letter emphasized general and free elections with equal rights to vote and to be elected. The government is accountable to the representatives of the nation. Equality of all individuals in civil rights, regardless of race or religion. Equality between men and women in civil and social rights. Separation of the clergy from political and social affairs. Prohibition of monopoly and hoarding of currency and capital. Nationalization of public wealth such as rivers, pastures, forests, seas, mines, roads, factories. Land ownership with respect to public livelihoods is recognized to the extent that it is the result of the producer's income. Limit working hours to 8 hours a day plus general and compulsory rest of 1 day a week. Pensions for anyone above 60 years old and their use in youth education. Creation and reproduction of factories with respect to workers' health. Eliminate the principles of unemployment. Social security, freedom of residence, and travel. Freedom of thought, opinion, association, press, work, speech. Compulsory and free primary education for all children. Establishment of free public hospitals and Dar al-Aja. We hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching.